Hey friends, welcome to my kitchen. Tonight I am making a keto-ish or low-carb-ish orange chicken. And so I've got my hot oil here because I am going to fry the chicken. I've got my chicken diced up into like 1-inch chunks. I have a flour dredge, but the flour I'm using, it's called Carb. It is a low-carb flour, and I am adding a little bit of xanthan gum, which also helps thicken and it's kind of like a cornstarch, but it's gluten-free. And then I put some garlic salt in here. So I've got that, and then I've just got a couple of eggs whisked up. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of these chicken chunks, and I'm actually using chicken thighs, number one, because that's what I had. Number two, I just like chicken thigh meat, and it's very forgiving. It's very difficult to overcook chicken thighs. And so I'm just kind of tossing them very lightly in this flour or this Carb and xanthan gum mixture with a little bit of garlic salt in here, and I'm going to place them in my pan to fry. Now, the last time I used this, it didn't seem like it got hot enough. It took a while for everything to kind of fry up. So I will definitely be cutting away and getting into the next stage, which would be once all of the chicken is cooked, I'm going to drain it, bring it over here, set it on a paper towel so that the excess grease can fall off, and then I'm going to make my orange sauce. So as I am getting all of this together, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and I'll be right back. Watch it. So note to self, I'm not going to use this skillet again because it just doesn't get hot enough. So I've got the rest of the chicken cooking behind me, and but what I'm doing is I'm just kind of turning this over. This is kind of uneven heat. I will probably, once the chicken behind me is done, I will probably go ahead and transfer this to that skillet. I just want to make sure that the chicken is done completely all the way through, and then once I'm ready to, once all the chicken is done, I'll come back and show you how to make a zero sugar orange glaze for this chicken. So it's going to be good. As far as frying chicken, I gave up on this skillet. I got the rest of it back behind me. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together the sugar-free orange marmalade glaze for the orange chicken. Now I'm going to start off with a little bit of garlic, and I use, tonight's dinner is an easy dinner. So I just put half of a tablespoon of garlic in what was left of a little tiny bit of hot oil. And I'm just going to kind of brown that up a little bit. And then I'm also going to add in some shredded carrot. And the reason that I'm doing that, number one, is because it's sweet. Number two is I'm always looking for ways to get a little bit of vegetables in my meals and kind of get that going in there. And then I'm going to put in a full jar of this orange marmalade. It is a sugar-free orange marmalade. So I'm going to go ahead and put this whole jar of orange marmalade in here. And again, it's sugar-free, so that's good. Now I've also juiced one orange. It was pretty juicy. I'm going to put that in there. And because I like texture, I don't know, are you a pulp person or are you a no pulp person? I personally love the pulp. This is a little inside joke to my sister. She used to call it pulse instead of pulp. And so she'd say, I don't want any pulse. I don't want any pulse in my orange juice. Well, too bad, sis. We're putting pulse in the orange juice today. Now, I'm going to add, I've got 3/4 of a cup of water. I'm just going to add about a 1/4 cup right now because I want this to get warm and bubbly, and then I'm going to taste it. What I also have here is some Swerve, brown sugar Swerve, and then if it's a little too loose, I have my xanthan gum right here. So if it just doesn't quite thicken up enough, then I can put just a teeny bit of that xanthan gum in here, and that will help tighten everything up. So while this is starting to percolate, I'm going to go take the rest of my chicken out, and I'll be right back. Because orange chicken, I've had orange chicken before that was not very sweet, and I personally don't care for that. And since this is made with an orange marmalade, it's going to have some orange peel in it, which is a little bit bitter. I'm going to add a little bit of my brown sugar Swerve. You can use brown monk fruits. And so I've got just, 2 teaspoons full basically. I'm going to mix this in, and then I'm going to put just a tiny bit of xanthan gum in here just to help tighten it up. And while this is working in here behind me, I'm going to boil in a bag brown rice. And if you've never used that before, it is a great way to have rice that turns out great every time, and it's super easy and it's perfectly portioned. So I've got that going in the microwave right now. I'm sprinkling in less than a teaspoon of that xanthan gum because it does work miracles. It will really tighten things up quickly. And so when I want to get this all incorporated, then I'm going to put the lid back on it, and I am going to let it simmer. So while this is simmering though, there was a couple of things I wanted to show you. Number one, all the chicken is done. Now I will say this, in other attempts at frying chicken, I actually did not have enough of the quick. So parts of it are not covered, and then when I put the rest of it in the other skillet to get it going, it got a little brown, but that's okay. Nothing's burned, and I'd rather it be a little dark knowing that it's done than not. One of the things that I discovered also while when I was making my fried chicken, especially if it's bone-in fried chicken, I wanted to get that really pretty golden brown color, but if I took it out when I thought it was ready, it might still be a little pink, especially close to the bone, and I will not serve uncooked chicken. So what I started doing was actually preheating my oven, and I would get my chicken cooked and browned the way I wanted it. Then I would pop it in the oven and let it finish cooking and crisping up there. Now, I wouldn't just put it on a cookie sheet. I would put it on a sheet that had like a little rack on top of it. So what that also did was if there were any excess juices or that needed to come out, or excess oil, it would also help drain that without making the bottom of the chicken soggy. Because I'm sorry, if you're going to have fried chicken, it needs to be crispy. If you want soggy chicken, call it soggy chicken. Don't call it fried chicken. So I'm going to put the lid on this, and before I go, I wanted to share with you my juicer. This is a hand juicer. It's actually a Pampered Chef one, and I love it. So you put the lid on it, and you can, if you want to strain it so that you don't have any little seeds or pulp, you can set the lid where it says strain, and then when you pour it out, it's just juice. If you set it where you just want to pour it, you'll get the pulp and everything out. My orange sauce has tightened up. I actually took a little bit of a piece of chicken and dipped it in there to taste it. It tastes great. So now I'm just putting in all of my chicken, and I'm going to toss to coat, and then I'm going to turn everything off, let it set until my rice is done, and then it is orange chicken for dinner, baby. Okay, so my rice is out. Look how pretty that is. You can see the steam coming off of it. This is some brown rice. Again, it's that boil in the bag stuff. You can boil it on the stove. You can put it in the microwave. 10 minutes, it's done. It's perfect. There's brown rice, white rice, quinoa, all kinds of different things. And now I'm going to scoop some of my orange chicken on top. And make sure I get some of that sauce with those carrots. Now, if I had some sesame seeds, I would probably put those on there, and I have some chives. I'll probably put a few chives on there just to give it a little color. You could also put some parsley. You could, when you're making the sauce, you could dice some green bell pepper in there to add some additional color. But doesn't this look yummy? Okay, friends, Bill's working late, so he'll have to have this yummy orange chicken and brown rice heated up when he gets home. But this is what I'm having for dinner. I did put some chives on top, and so that looks really pretty. And again, if I had had some sesame seeds, I would have probably dropped some of those on top. And I have a glass of unsweet tea, and this is what's for dinner. So let's taste it and see. Hopefully it's not too hot. You get a little bit of chicken, a little bit of rice. That's really good.